I'm not gonna lie, heading into this one, I really did not want to be here. I really did not want to have to do this team. This was definitely not one that was on the list for rebuilds, but considering the last few months, and especially the last week, with a new manager coming in, and a fresh-faced look at the team, we are going to be doing a Leeds United rebuild. Hello boys, what's going on? It's Yorkie here, and today we take on the task of rebuilding Leeds United. Again, I really don't want to be here doing this. I'm still mourning the loss of Marcelo Bielsa from my club. I love that man and the experiences that he brought for me as a Leeds United fan. If you didn't know, now you know I am a Leeds United fan. So today, we are going to be doing this rebuild. I did put up a community post and ask for suggestions. I'm going to go through them. We'll add players to the list. When it comes to these kind of rebuild suggestions, are quite open-ended because there's going to be no rhyme or reason why we sign certain players, apart from maybe in this first season. I'm going to try and keep it fairly realistic in season 1 and maybe season number 2 by going for players that Leeds have been linked with, maybe players that I feel like Leeds should have gone for, or players that maybe Marsh has worked with before. We'll have that little spin of it of trying to bring in players that maybe he's worked with before. But as this goes on, it spirals out of control. If you don't like who we brought in, I don't care. This is how it works on FIFA. It's based on overalls, lads. So where you've seen how dodgy the simulation is, if this is the first rebuild you've watched on the channel, there's a ton of them. And we kind of know around here now kind of how the simulation works. And it's all based on overall. So at some stage, considering the board objectives being absolute nonsense, we are going to have to just sign players that are really good overall. Now, as with this rebuild, there always is, when I do these saves, a few players that I might want to try and take through the entire rebuild. As a Leeds fan, it doesn't really take a genius to figure out who those players are going to be, but number 1 is going to be Meslier. Hopefully, we can carry him the entire time. This is going to be the first time, really, that we have a goalkeeper that I feel like could be there for the entire rebuild. He's going to grow massively at the age of 21. Hopefully, maybe we'll even get him up to 90. Again, the man's on the thumbnail. It doesn't take that much logic to figure out that Calvin Phillips will be going absolutely nowhere. I'm going to keep him for the entire series and hopefully grow him massively. I hope that he can become a beast. There are other players that might end up staying for the entirety. Dan James, if he grows really well, will probably stay. Jack Harrison, again, it will depend how these players grow. Rafinha will be going absolutely nowhere. He's staying here. He's staying at Leeds because I really hope that's what happens in real life, even though my brain's telling me it's definitely not. But he's going to stay here for this series at least. And then he's a man that is liked by some and hated by others. But if I can, I'm going to keep Paddy B. I'm going to keep Patrick Bamford, or Hat-Trick Bamford as we like to call him. And hopefully we can keep him around. I'm not an idiot. I know at 27 and 78 rated, which is not fair. He's higher. This man got 18 goals in the Premiership last year, and you give him a 78. EA, put your glasses on, sort your lives out. Not having it, but there we go. Patrick Bamford will most likely stay here for the entirety, Lord Bamford. Hopefully he'll grow and be a serviceable striker. He's at least going to be good enough for his season 1. I would love to improve Joe Gelhardt as well, but unfortunately, considering the circumstances of this rebuild, we're probably not going to be able to achieve that. It is a shame. I'm a real big fan of Joe. I think he's going to be fantastic for us in the future. Maybe the future of our strike force. But it's FIFA, and it's just, you know how FIFA is in these rebuilds. Your second string players don't get the game time, and then he probably won't grow enough to ever be the starter. Now, we've got an okay budget. It's not a great budget, but we've got an okay one. And again, this first season, what I like to do is not go too crazy with the transfers. I'm going to make 1 or 2, but that will probably be it here for season number 1. And we'll just lie with it. We'll just see how this team gets on. I'm going to play a 4-3-3 to kick off this save. I don't know if we'll stay 4-3-3, but at least for now, this is the formation we're going to use. All right, so gone through. Obviously, I'm scouting a lot of the suggestions that you guys have given for the team, because there were so many good suggestions as well, so I do appreciate that. And one thing from now on, when we do the rebuilds, is I will put up a post beforehand. Usually, to be 100% honest with you, I do the thumbnail after the video's recorded. I'll feel like I'm going to record a rebuild that day. I'll sit down and have a notepad with a list of teams. I will pick a team that I feel like doing that day that is interesting to me. I'll record it and then I'll make the thumbnail, usually while the video's uploading. But I will plan these a little bit further in advance from now on, because I think giving you guys the opportunity to have an input and then see that player have an input on how this save goes is important. Now, so we've listed some players. A lot of these are loans, so that, you know, we haven't gone mad. I'm just loaning a load of the youth out. If you didn't know, Leeds have a lot of really good youth, thanks to, really, in my opinion, Bielsa. Don't get me wrong, we've always had a really good youth academy, in my opinion. There's been some great players come through it, but Bielsa's done really well at attracting a new crop of young players into the academy as well to compete with the local lads. So we've got a really good academy. I'm going to put them out on loan, but unfortunately it's FIFA, so we won't see them. They're not going to make it. They're probably just going to be in the background. Two big transfers really is Rodrigo and Tyler Roberts. Now, I like Tyler Roberts. I think he gets a little bit too much hate. I think it's a little bit unnecessary how much hate he gets, because he gets a lot of hate compared to Rodrigo, who, I mean, really, they've both done about the same. In fact, I'm not sure if Rodrigo scored this year, Tyler Roberts has. But anyway, they're both on the list. We're not going to go into the ins and outs and details of me being a Leeds fan, in my opinion. But we've put them both on the list. So they're probably going to be the only major casualties of this season in terms of transfers out. We're going to have to go forward now to get these scout reports done, and then we will bring in one or two players before we sim until the end of season number 1. I think we've got a good group of players just come back from the scouting. Now, I've added a few players. There's a few players that you guys have suggested, but there's pretty much every single player that was suggested I've kind of added into this. So this is kind of what we're rocking and rolling with at the moment. I'm going to go and make one deal done instantly, and that's Aronson. We were linked so heavily to him in the January window. And I think a lot of Leeds fans, if we do get relegated this year, tap on wood. Oh, that top looks so good on FIFA. Is that they will feel like that in January, we didn't do the business we should have done. And this is one player that we actually went in for, and we didn't get the deal done. And I think a lot of Leeds fans were expecting that this was going to be one that did happen. And we're going to make it happen now. It does line up with Jesse Marsh as well, of course, from his old club. I don't know if the two work together, but I imagine that there's some connection there because he's a young American as well. I think he's spoken of pretty highly. Now, he's not the greatest rated player, don't get me wrong, but he is going to be good enough to potentially start, because in the center of midfield is where we're weaker. Now, this is going to be the one year where you're kind of allowed to not be unbelievable. Really, we just need to stay in the league this season. While we're in that year that we don't need to be unbelievable, hopefully Aronson can go up enough to justify being a first team starter in the seasons to come. But next up, I think we need a striker. Now, I wanted Yeboah. Now, if you don't know about Leeds, you don't know about Yeboah, then it won't mean absolutely anything to you. But I really wanted Yeboah. Unfortunately, he's not well rated in FIFA. I think he'll actually get an upgrade because he's not had the world's worst season. I think he'll get an upgrade on next year's game. He's pretty decent on FM, if you play FM. So we're not going to get Yeboah. Now, I would like Makoko because, you know, why not? Why not? But we are going to try and keep these first few seasons realistic. And I really like the suggestion of Divock Origi. He is a unbelievable player who seems to just always be happy as long as he's winning, being on the bench. I mean, he could have gone anywhere at the age of 26. We have a decent relationship with Liverpool, I like to think. I believe we got offered Minamino. Reports say we got offered Minamino in January and decided not to take him up. I think Minamino would suit the system, but we'd have to retrain him to be a striker. So I'm going to go in for Divock. So more than anything in this first season, what we're trying to do here is just put players in place for backups. Aronson, of course, is going to start and hopefully grow, but we need a backup for Patrick Bamford. Leeds have really suffered not having that in real life. Dan James has played up top. We also need a backup for Calvin Phillips, and that is where I am now left with a very difficult decision, because Paulinho was recommended and suggested, but then to retrain him as a centre-back. But as you can see there, we can't afford him. I'm still going to look at him in the future. He's really a very good player. So then I'm left with Tyler Adams and Mohamed Kamara, and I really like both of them. I think Tyler Adams, with his American links as well, Jesse Marsh has just come from RB Leipzig, although it didn't work out. I think we're going to go for Tyler Adams. That's those two deals done. Not ridiculous spends either when you look at it. 9 million for Divock and then 10 million for Tyler Adams. And that's probably going to be our window. I think that is most likely going to be our window. Now, we haven't moved any of the players on we want to, but Tyler Roberts and Rodrigo, you're not going to see them featured. They're both going to be moved on. And hopefully, we've done enough just to have a good season. Now, a good season for me here in season number 1 is just staying in the league. That's the all-important goal. Stay in the league, hopefully maybe mid-table, and then we're just going to keep progressing this team, keep growing this squad, hopefully in a short period of time, becoming a contender, at least in European football. We're in January, and I didn't really plan on making any transfers, but I thought, you know what, in January we will do. I'm not going to show you where we are in the table just yet. We'll see at the end of the season. We had that budget, we had a bit of money, and I was thinking about who to sign. Now, I went in for Anthony Robinson, the left back, because we're really weak at left back. We need that cover. We've only really having Junior Firpo it's a bit of an issue for us. So Robinson comes in. He's American. He's from the league below us, Fulham, although they're having a great year in real life. We brought him in. And then I also signed Ruben Loftus-Cheek. This is more a personal one. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, especially under Bielsa, really suits our system. We love midfielders that are very good at driving the ball forward and bringing the ball forward and then linking up play or even having an opportunity at goal. Ruben Loftus-Cheek has got that. He's got that in bucket load. So we've got in for him. Also, there's an objective to sign one midfielder to a crucial role. So I've made Loftus-Cheek that midfielder. It was important to get the objective done. It's the only crucial objective that we had, and it'll stop me from being sacked. The end of season 1 is done then, boys, and here we go. I mean, we've ended the season really strong. Now, in my mindset, the squad that we actually had for this season, not that good of a team. Overall-wise, not that good of a squad. Now, I know we'll have improved as the year went on. That's what gave me confidence that we would stay in the league, and it does look like we did improve. We even beat Arsenal in the end run, Brentford and Brighton. That Brentford game could end up being all important in real life, of course. I imagine now in my mindset that we're the two teams, Brentford and Leeds, that are kind of the two that might go down. Which one will it be? Hopefully Brentford. Sorry, Brentford fans. What a season it's been for us here as well. We managed to finish 8th here in season number 1. Completely unexpected. If I'm being 100% honest, I thought we'd be towards maybe 13, 14. But we had enough to stay in the league. It'll be Watford, Palace and Norwich that go down here in season number 1. And your Premier League champions will be Liverpool ahead of Manchester City. I don't think that'll be the case in real life, but you never know what's going to happen. The simulation, again, is a little bit iffy. We're seeing too many draws there for the top 2 sides, but the losses aren't as bad now. Now, there has been an update, which should be mentioned, which does seem to have improved the manager rating stuff, because I've only gone through and done one of the objectives. That's all I've done. I've gone through and done the brand exposure, the high one, and that seems to have just been absolutely fine. Get 7 games without a defeat in home matches, which actually isn't that bad, and then the crucial midfielder. And it seems that even though we didn't reach where we needed to in the FA Cup and whatnot, they do want us to get Europa League within 2 seasons. So building upon trying to make us a Europa League side is definitely what we're going to be doing next. We'll take a cheeky look at the squad here and see how they got on this year. First of all, we want to see the top goal scorer, who was Patrick Bamford. Now, even though we brought in Divock Origi, they only played him 7 games. They've decided to play Gelhardt the majority of the backup games, and he's gone up by 4. So, I mean, Paddy B's gone up by 1, and he's shown that he's capable. 18-goal season to be our starting striker for right now, and Gelhardt showing that he's good enough to be our backup. Divock Origi, he's gone up too. So, I mean, it's not a bad signing, but, I mean, only 7 appearances. Weird, I've never seen the assistant choose to play a younger striker than the other, but who knows, right? Jack Harrison's done really well there. I mean, we're going to see some of the players' development and how they've gone up. Top assists is only 5, though, which is a bit worrying. Now, I should note, we've got a 43-man squad. That's going to have to change very quickly, but this is some of the attributes going up this year. 4 for Meslier. I mean, I expected him to go up a lot. Robinson came in. It only went up 1, but the big thing for me was having a good backup to Firpo, who's gone up by 3, because McCarran's just not going to be good enough. He has gone up by 4, which is great, but he's just not going to be good enough. Cooper there going up by 1, but, I mean, his day's a number. I'm going to keep him around because I love super duper Liam Cooper. So I'm going to keep him around, but he's not really going to play, and he's probably going to go down pretty soon. Pascal Strike actually went up quite well. He's gone up by 3 to 78 rated. Cresswell up by 3 as well. Cresswell, a really good young prospect, as well as Hilda, but it doesn't look like either of them will probably make it in this series. Robin Koch's gone up by 2, and so is Llorente. So, I mean, they are firmly the partnership, but it looks like Pascal Strike is right behind them. I thought centre-back was something we might have to sign early on, but it doesn't look like it. Shackleton went up by 4, which is huge, and Ayling up by 1. So I am looking at Ayling as he's got 1 more season with us, but maybe Shackleton can consistently stay as the backup. Cody Drammer did go up out on loan, but it's not enough Bates as well. There's some, honestly, there's some really good young players. If you're doing an RTG like we are on the channel right now, cheeky plug, if you aren't subscribing to the channel as well, make sure you do. We don't just do rebuilds, it's just all basically career mode related. Calvin Phillips went up by 3 to 84. Adams coming in went up by 2 as well. So it's good to see that even the backup's doing really well. And James up by 5 to 82. And Harrison up by 4 to 81. So the versatility of our wing is very good. I don't know how much we're actually going to have to do in the transfer market for next season. Stuart Dallas stayed at 75, but 31 now going to start going down. Ruben Loftus-Cheek went up by 1 since coming in. I think we can get him up to 80, but probably not get him to that elite level. Mateus Click now at 31. We are going to add him to the transfer list. I'm a fan, but we're going to have to add him. And 2 for Aronson. So It doesn't look like Harrison's going to be able to carry that midfield position. It does look like he's going to be someone we could keep around, though, to be backup. The real good growth with the loans we got done. I tried to loan out as many as the young players as humanly possible to see what we could do. And Amari Miller and Sean McGurk have actually both had really good loan spells. Elder Costa is going to be sold. You already know. McKinstry actually had a good season as well, considering he didn't play that much. He's gone up by 3. I will go through as well. You can see some people are upset with contracts. I'll go through and do that off camera. Somerville going up by 3 as well, so who knows what's going to happen with him. We've seen some really good growth this season. Rafinha went up by 3 to 86. I think Rafinha will be 90 rated by season 3 if I'm being 100% honest. Greenwood went up by 5 out on loan to Fulham. Paveda will be sold. Edmondson up by 3. Edmondson's a little bit of a cult hero when it comes to the channel because I did a Bolton Football Manager save and we signed him on a loan and he absolutely destroyed it. It was brilliant. Origi, we already know. Gelhardt, we already know. And Patrick Bamford. So we've seen some good growth. We've seen a really good season, actually, considering we finished 8th. Now I'm really going to have to rack my brain to see where we improve this team because I've been quite happy. I think a starting right back is probably going to be needed. But do we give Ayling one more season? That's what I'm going to have to figure out. And then maybe a worldy centre mid for Stuart Dallas's position. And then Aronson and Ruben Loftus-Cheek can fight out the other central midfield position. Plus, we need to know what budget we're going to have next season first. I imagine with a profit of 158 million, maybe we'll be somewhere in the 80 million mark for the transfer budget. I was a little bit off with the budget here then for season number 2. I wasn't miles off, you know, because when we tweak it a little bit, wage budget, you don't really spend that much on wages, not until later down the line when you've got, you know, some 90 rated players. So we're actually pretty cushy on the wage budget. So yeah, we're going to have close to that 80 million mark. I just want to quickly take a look at the objectives just to make sure we're going to be all right with it. Sign one crucial first-team player assigned to midfield or forward position. It does feel like the objectives are getting a little bit smarter. They're a little bit better. I'm not seeing this objective consistently reappear where you have to sign someone from a certain nation or from a certain part of the world because, I mean, that makes no sense. That would never happen. You sign the players that you think are going to help you achieve the goals that you've got. Get a 5-win streak this season. That's most likely not going to happen. I'm not going to lie. 5 games in the Premiership in a row is actually extremely difficult to do, especially if you're not one of the top, say, 4 sides. Finishing the Europa League spot might be difficult. I think we'll be okay. We'll definitely sign the crucial midfielder. As I say, I feel like we need to plug that hole there where Stuart Dallas is. That's going to be the position now where we focus on, and Aronson and Loftus-Cheek can kind of fight out for the other centre mid spot. So obviously with the principle that we have to move this on relatively quickly, this season, you're probably going to start seeing some transfers that aren't as realistic. It's just the way it has to go. Obviously at this stage of the rebuild, I know it's only season number 2, but that's why I don't put realistic as the tagline on these career mode rebuilds, just because purely it's very difficult to do a realistic rebuild. It really is. And to win the Champions League, which is always our goal, right? When we do these rebuilds, always want to try and achieve winning the Champions League. To do that realistically with this kind of side, you're talking like 10 years, I would have said. And the objectives don't allow us those 10 years. So we're going to go in here for Neuhaus. I was tempted by Camavinga. I'm really tempted by Camavinga, but I've decided we're going to go for Neuhaus. I've not used him before. Head back to the Bundesliga. Jesse Marsch was there very recently. I did look at central midfielders for Leipzig. There wasn't really anyone that I wanted. There were a few cams that would have been good, and Kunku and Dani Olmo, but no one at central midfielder, which is where we're looking for. I think Neuhaus will be brilliant for me. I think the key thing here is I'm actually not expecting him to cost that much money either. I wanted Pedri, and Juve got Pedri. And Pedri's price tag was like 80 million. We don't have 80 million. I'm going to try for 45 million. 48.5, absolutely fine to do that deal. I think Neuhaus will improve to at least be an 85 as well. If I'm being honest, I think we'll even get him beyond 85. I genuinely do. I think we'll get him beyond 85. That crucial midfielder we need as well. That will fulfill that objective, which hopefully will just make the board really sympathise with everything else that happens this season, because I think we overachieved last year. Juicy pay rise doesn't worry me whatsoever. 48.5 million and 71 grand instantly in the starting 11, and he improves us already. And that's kind of what the rebuilds are about, assessing a position that needs to be improved and then improving it as much as humanly possible for the right fee. It's exactly what we've done with Neuhaus. I think next up, obviously, is right back. I like Serginho Dest. He's American, so kind of suits the theme a little bit. He's not playing for Barcelona, and I think he'll improve greatly. He's 78 rated, which is higher than Ayling, but I think the ceiling for Serginho Dest is at least into the mid-80s. I'm going to go relatively cheap because I don't want to pay a fortune for him. I'm going to try 20 million, 22 and a sell-on clause. Do you know what? I'm going to accept that. we very rarely move players on in these kind of rebuilds. Once you've got a decent player that keeps growing, they tend to stay. He actually took a pay cut as well, so a relatively decent transfer. Now, that's the budget spent. That is the moolah gone. 6.86 million, as you can see, 8k on the wages, and there's probably going to be some wages and contracts that we need to sort out. There is still the potential of moving players out of the club. So far, we've only managed to move Click for 2.85 million, so I don't think we're going to make any big money with any of the sales. But heading into this second season, I'm pretty happy with the squad. I'm interested to see where we finish, and also the improvements that we see from the entirety of the team, because a lot of players went up really well last season. I'm expecting the same again this season. Finally managed to get more players out of the club, which is exactly what we were looking for. A lot of them loans. Of course, Leeds have so many good young players. I'm hoping the loan deals will work for us and some of these will come back and be good enough to have some place in the first team. Tried to sell Helder Costa, couldn't, so we got the loan deal done instead. We made some money off of Bogus. There's a few players in here that if I was playing in real life, I probably would have kept and I wouldn't have moved on. But I've made the decision, obviously, with the rebuild to do that. So the 2 transfers in, the players going out. Let's sim this season, and maybe we'll get Europe. You can see already there, the manager rating is really healthy. We have done a few things towards that to try and help it, but again, I think it might be fixed. Do not quote me on that if we get sacked in this rebuild. I've no idea how, but we are in our first cup final here against Manchester City. I don't know where we finished in the league yet. We have an opportunity here to win the FA Cup. Now, they've got a really good team. It's a little bit tired. We're going to quick sim it. We're hopefully going to get our first cup victory here against Manchester City. We lose it. That is devastating. I don't think we're good enough yet. Oh, God, Meslier picked up an injury. I don't think we're good enough yet. Alvarez scoring for them and De Bruyne. Hey, at least we got to a final and Patrick Bamford scored in it. First final of the season as well. And as you can see here, we didn't have the same end to the season that we had last time round. It's been a bit of a rough one by the looks of it. I imagine Meslier's injury probably had a big part in that. We still managed to finish 7th, though. We're not exactly blessed in the goalkeeper department for backup. We drew 15 times because FIFA is FIFA. 12 times did Liverpool draw, but they win the league title with 87 points. Relegated this time around was Reading, Brighton, and West Brom. But, I mean, 7th place is Conference League, right? Depending who wins the FA Cup, and we was in the FA Cup final, so I'm pretty positive. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty positive that Leeds United will be playing in the Europa Conference next season, which is extra games. A little bit worrying because the team isn't exactly deep, but it's an improvement on last year. Speaking of improvements, let's see how the team got on. Top goal scorer, of course, was Patrick Bamford, going up by 3. Again, he's 82 rated. If I could just squeeze another 3 out of Paddy B, he might even be good enough to help us win a Champions League. I don't know, but he might be good enough. Rafinha having a standout year this time round. 15 assists, 15 goals. Only going up 1 to 87, but I mean, at this stage, he's a beast. Neuhaus proving to be the right signing, coming in and getting 13 goals from the centre of midfield and 6 assists. Danny Boy had a good season as well. Dan James going up by 1. Gelhardt still being chosen over Origi, so we're actually going to transfer list Origi now. Gelhardt went up by 3, so I'm actually really inclined not to touch the striker situation. Jack Harrison going up by 1 as well. You know, we're perfect at left because Daniel James and Harrison are both very similar. We've got great backup. Now, Harrison played a lot more this season, but didn't go up. So I think that's a position we're probably going to look at now, that cam position, because we do play a cam there in that central midfield position, because Aronson has played a lot, but he's not improved enough. Now, we loaned some players out. McKinstry's gone up by 6. Again, I don't think he plays. Helder Costa will come back and be sold. Sam Greenwood's done all right there, up by 3. I think he needs another loan. Somerville went up by 3 here, so I mean, so far he's been playing back up to Rafinha, who we need to make really happy right now with a new contract. Somerville's looking like he's going to be a good enough backup. He's not getting the game time, though, which will probably frustrate him. McGurk went up by 2 out on loan. Neuhaus only up by 1, as we've seen. Stewie Dallas went up by 1. Pretty impressive, although he's pretty sad that he hasn't played a lot this year. And then Ruben Loftus-Cheek is unhappy. He's not played much either. I think Loftus-Cheek's days are numbered. We'll keep Aronson around as the backup, and Loftus-Cheek will be sold just purely because I signed him to Crucial, and he's never going to be happy with the game time. Kevin Phillips only going up by 1, which is a shame, but I mean, 85 rated. He's a leader in the team. He should be fine. And then Tyler Adams playing just behind him up by 1. Shackleton not getting the game time this year and still going up by 2. So I've got a bit of an issue. We're going to loan Shackleton out. Eugenio Dest only going up by 1 as well, which is a little bit frustrating. We'll say everybody's morale at the minute is pretty peed off, and that's probably just because of the end of the season. I wouldn't really read into that. Renting out Robin Koch, both in the 80s, but at some stage for a Champions League side, they're going to have to be replaced. This season coming is going to be about getting players now up into the mid-80s. Meslier only going up by one as well. I thought Meslier would have gone up a little bit more. We saw some good growth in some players, but not in others. There was a lot of players there that didn't grow enough this season. This is the starting 11 that we've got at the minute, and there's just instantly a few positions that need improving. This cam position needs improving, left back needs improving, right back we're going to hold off on obviously because we've got Dest, but now we've hit a stage where we want into the middle 80s at least with the players that we're trying to sign. These are number 3 then, and this is going to be the transfer budget. It's going to be bigger because again we don't need that wage budget. That's too big. We might have to renegotiate some contracts this year, but not to such an extent of that. So we're going to have about 120 million. I did manage to move some players out during that little end run. You'll see Origi left, McCallum went, and so did Loftus-Cheek. So that's kind of boosted this transfer budget a little bit. Again, you know, with these rebuilds, it's kind of just improved the squad, improved the overall. We know what positions we want to do that in. We've got a beefy budget for it. I think with that budget, we'll be able to get a left back and a cam quite comfortably. Now, does the objective kind of lean me towards anything? Is what I'm hoping not. Sign one veteran player. It's not gonna happen, so hopefully we can get the streak. Although at one stage last season we had 100 on the old objective, so I don't know what the veteran criteria is. If I remember correctly, it's like a crucial 35-year-old, which I definitely won't be going out of my way to sign. So success will be all important. Really wanted Danny Olmo. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really wanted Danny Olmo, but that's just not going to happen now. We could make the decision now to go for Camavinga and drop just two central midfielders. This will be a really hefty deal. Probably cost us the entirety of the transfer budget, but that would really secure centre of the pack for the rest of this rebuild. Camavinga already looks good in white. He just looked better in the white of Leeds United. This is going to be a ridiculous feat. I can already feel it. But I mean, we haven't had Camavinga in a rebuild yet. I'm going to go 70. I'm going to be cheeky. Carlo Ancelotti. Oh, okay. Maybe I wasn't cheeky there. Maybe I just overpaid for Camavinga. Is 70 million really overpaying for a player of his quality? Well, more of his ceiling, right? He's got a really high ceiling. I don't think so. I feel like he's going to be worth more than that in time to come. I'm going to tie him down for as long as humanly possible. No release clauses. The wage isn't even ridiculous. Now, we were playing that role as a cam. We're not going to be doing that anymore. We're going to be back to a central midfielder, and Camavinga is going to be in there. I mean, it's instantly an improvement. It's an improvement on what we had, and the most important thing is you saw Neuhaus came in, and he had a huge impact last season. Camavinga will come in and hopefully have a similar impact. And the most important thing, I'm actually going to swap those two around because one side is a little bit less defensive. I don't even know if that matters in the simulation, but we're still going to do it for my own OCD. But the fact of the matter is that Camavinga will at least become 88 to 90, I believe. So at least with that knowledge, we know that it's worthwhile signing him right now. The expectation this season won't be through the roof. I just realized that we need a backup goalkeeper as well. Completely slipped my mind before we get a left back. So I'm going in for Areola. Like, why not? He's on a freebie. And to be honest with you, I was just looking for any goalkeeper that was free. The fact that we're going to get a 30-year-old that has played in the Champions League with Paris Saint-Germain is perfect for me. This is the perfect freebie, and he's only 30. Decent business so far. Two Frenchmen, both on the opposite ends of their careers. Now I can focus on left back, but I might need to sell some players before we can get a left back. I think I need to bring some money in because the caliber of left back I want is going to cost more than 44 million, and we need some more on the wages. We've managed to bring some money in, selling some waifs and strays. So there are 3 left backs that I've gone out and looked at that I like. Renan Lodi and Kieran Tierney are obviously the better left backs for us to go for here, the higher rated ones, which makes the most sense, but they are also quite costly. Tierney we can't afford, and Renan Lodi we can't, but Zinchenko we just about can, so he's actually going to be the left back we go for. I still think we'll be able to improve him a little bit, maybe not masses, but a little bit. And it will allow me to raise some more funds as well by selling one of our current left backs, which I haven't made a decision yet if it's going to be Firpo or Robinson. I think it's probably going to be Firpo, just because he's on the older side. I'm going to try 32.5 million, and they'll accept that. Now, bearing in mind, going into that negotiation, I only had like 50 million, so I knew we could go up a little bit, but I knew there was no way I could really negotiate for a Lodi or a Tierney. Could try and tack on player swaps, but I really don't like player swap. Like, how often do you see a player swap in real life. We've talked about this on stream before. By the way, I do stream over on Twitch. Not massively consistent, but I do stream quite a bit. We'll probably stream a lot more when FIFA 23 comes out. It's at Yorkiemann. And follow me on Twitter as well, man. We need more followers on Twitter. It's where I post. You find out everything on Twitter, basically. Twitter or Discord, you will know everything. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss one of my random thoughts. It's the perfect way. So, Kamavega, Zinchenko, and Areola, we are going to be left with some money. There's still players to be sold. I'm just not sure where we try and improve at this moment in time. If I can, maybe a centre-back to take over from Llorente, because the man's not getting any younger. So if I sold Firpo and Llorente, kind of figure out how much they're worth. So if I sell Firpo and Llorente and maybe try and push for 40 million for the two of them. I thought Firpo was older, though. Now I'm tempted to sell Robinson. I thought Junior Firpo was a little bit older than that, actually. So we're going to add Robinson to the transfer list. And we're going to add Llorente because I'm going to try and min-max my way to getting a 83, 84 rated centre-back. We managed to sell Llorente. Robinson's being sold. He's not gone yet. I want Timber, but we can see there already he's just going to cost too much. I think he'd be brilliant for us, but he's just going to cost too much. We're going to go in for Evan and Dicker instead. Still a really good player. We can sign him before selling Robinson. I'll still have enough money left to do some contract stuff. And, you know, he'll grow. I think he'll end up being at least 85, maybe a little bit more. I think that's the main thing that matters at this stage. He's going to cost us just over 40 mil. And the wage wasn't too bad for him either. 60 grand a week. We have gone a little bit French here. I've signed 3 French players. That was definitely not planned. It's just the deals we managed to pull off, the players that I was looking at. We're getting Dickon out into the back line, and we still got a really good backup with Pascal Strike. Our Europa Conference League group has been drawn. So that's going to be the starting 11. We are in the 80s now with everybody. And this is our Conference League group. We've got Feyenoord, Aalborg, and Dundalk. Now, we should be able to win this group comfortably. Feyenoord might be a difficult game, but I think we've got the better team. We've got a really good team this year. I want us to try and get Europa League football. Maybe just be on the edge of Champions League this season. Obviously, I'm still trying to get rid of Anthony Robinson, but this has probably been one of the bigger windows in terms of sales going out. So Aronson has gone, Llorente has gone, Helder Costa finally leaving the club, Bates has left the club. I sold a few of the youngsters. I also loaned a few of the youngsters out as well. Shackleton finally leaving the club. It's a little bit frustrating that I couldn't bring through all these good young talents because I think a lot of them have a place playing for Leeds United maybe in the future, but it's FIFA. We can only do what we can do. We're going to sim forward now through the season where hopefully maybe I'll come back and we'll be in a conference final. Look, we made a cup final this last season gone. There's going to be a lot more games this year, though, which might make it a little bit more difficult for us. You're probably thinking, what the hell are you doing, Yorkie? Why have you signed Luis Suarez? Now, in January here, we have signed Luis Suarez. We are progressing through the season, and I thought to myself, it's a crucial objective. I don't think we're going to reach the 5 matches at home because that rarely happens. I'm going to try and see if I could just figure out signing a veteran. He's only got 6 months. It's frustrating because he's cost me 21 million. But this is the price you pay for science, right? I wanted to see if I can sign a 36-year-old Luis Suarez, who will probably go down as one of the better strikers of all time, and if it counted for the objective. No, I did not. EA's objectives are still absolutely broken. This might just get us sacked. We'll see what happens, but you never know. I didn't record it. Missed it. Forgot to record it. We lost in the Europa Conference final. 2-1 to Real Betis. We're not very good in cup finals. We bottle it, to be honest with you. But we can be a little bit happier when we look at the Premier League. Leeds United finished 4th ahead of Manchester United. I am happy with that. 68 points neck and neck with Manchester City. So we did it on goal difference, right? 1 goal difference is what got Leeds United Champions League football. 12 defeats this season, 5 draws. Not really a great season when you think about it, but top 4. Leeds are back in the Champions League, boys, and I couldn't be happier. We did absolutely nothing in the other cups, though, and the manager rating's in the bin because of not winning the Conference League and the fact that we didn't achieve either critical priorities, mainly because their game is stupid. But we did have a good season, though. Now, Stuart Dallas is retiring, which is devastating. Liam Cooper is leaving on a free. I thought he would retire. He's chosen not to. Now, the squad is still too big. I think when you're doing a sim, so if you do these yourself, so if you ever do a rebuild, if you're a content creator, right? and you're going to sit down and do a rebuild, you want it to be successful, what's the best balance for your squad? 25 players is the best balance for the squad in terms of rotation and starting 11. In my opinion, when I get the squad down to around 25 players, it's the best the team performs. So here we go. Patrick Bamford, the greatest striker in the world. Don't even doubt it. 33 goals this year, 6 assists. Paddy B. It's Lord Bamford. It's hat-trick Bamford. Knight the man. Give him it. Let's call him Sir Bamford. I mean, he's brilliant. 33 goals this year is unbelievable. That is right up there, by the way, in these rebuilds with some of the best strikers that we've used. Dan James has been really good. Like, honestly, I'm not going to say he's the next Ryan Giggs, but in this save, he's having that kind of impact at Leeds United. 17 goals, 8 assists. Neuhaus, 14 goals, 14 assists. I think Neuhaus has been probably one of the best signings we've made when you look at the assists he has season in, season out. There's only Rafinha that's up there with him. By the way, Rafinha is now 90 rated, which is our first 90 rated player. Camavinga comes up and goes up by 4, so vindicated. We've got 286 rated midfielders now going into the Champions League. 11 goals, 7 assists. Camavinga's just going to keep getting better. Sir Calvin Phillips having a decent season as well. I wish you could see interceptions. I wish you could see tackles. I am going to do a video, I think, actually breaking down the settings that EA Sports have in their other games. I could bring in 2K, but I think that's obviously a different developer. So if we look at the settings that you get in NHL and Madden, and we look at the statistics that you can see compared to the statistics that you can see in FIFA, I mean, the fact that I go on a stats page and all I can see is one season's worth of stats, and it is just goals, assists, appearances, and how many clean sheets they're involved in. It's just not good enough. I wish I could see interceptions or tackles made or successful tackles, a tackle percentage. I would crave anything like that. I would probably look at it far too much. Jack Harrison going up one as well. Yeah, Gelhardt not really getting that much time this season, which makes me think that, well, obviously Bamford played basically every game, and I don't think Luis Suarez came in and played many. Yeah, 4. He scored a goal though, and I bet it was an important one. It looks pretty weird seeing Luis Suarez in a Leeds United kit. Of course, we'll go through and we'll look at some growth, and it's up 3 for Patrick Bamford. So even at 30, he's going to be pretty decent. Now, my mindset is I would love to win the Champions League with him still in the team. Gelhardt now is 78 rated. It's getting a little bit worrying for him, though, because he kind of needs to be at least in the 80s to be a backup for a team that's going to be playing in Europe. Rafinha, of course, is beasting. Somerville behind him, but you probably need a better backup right mid now. I think this season is going to be a case of trying to sign backups. Of course, you can see they're retiring Stuart Dallas. We're still fine on the left, in my opinion. Tyler Adams is a okay backup for Calvin Phillips. Serginho Dest going up 2 this season. Need a little bit more out of him. It's going to be heavily dependent here, right, on how much money they give me. I would like to, at this stage, get someone better next to Ndicka. Although Robin Cook has gone up by 1, I would love to put Timber next to Ndicka. I would say Evan Ndicka as well, though. Did go up by 3. Firpo now is 80 rated. Zinchenko 83 rated. Areola went up 1, which is unbelievable. I think he ended up starting for Meslier, which was not the idea, but a successful season regardless. Now, again, I don't really know what position at this stage we're going to improve next year. I think it's going to be improving the backups for certain positions. Like, we don't have a really good backup central midfielder, so I want one of them. And then maybe bringing in a better centre-back than Koch, although I like Koch, and I like saying Koch's name, as I said it as many times as humanly possible there. But yeah, I think we've hit a stage now where we would probably like someone better in that position. Holy transfer budget here for season number 3. Hey, I'm not going to complain. I didn't expect this much, though. Champions League football might give you some decent money. 178 million. I'm probably going to switch this up just a touch, not too much. 180 million for us to be able to sign players for positions I don't even know that we need. This is going to be an interesting one. Can I spend 180 million on a centre-back? I might make a wild transfer in this window. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go and scout some players now, but this is going to get a little bit wild now. I might make a wild transfer in this window. We do need some backup. I need that backup centre mid. And I do think that we still want someone better than Koch, because I think Serginho Dest will still grow. So that's not the position I'm going to look at. But I'm just shocked. I did not expect that amount of money. So obviously, we wanted Timber. Timber seems like a really good deal. He's a really good player. We've used him before, though. We signed him before. So we've also used this player before, but I'm still going to bring him in. Aspie's here purely because of that veteran thing. We're not going to sign him. Don't worry. Aspie's not going to be signed, but he was here for the veterans thing. So we're actually going to go in for Romero. The fact that he's 26 at 86 rated there at Sporting, he's a beast, right? He's a beast at this stage. I still think we'll eke out some growth from him. I think it's a good deal. I think it's the right deal to make. I'm gonna go 70 mil and just pray they accept it, and it's not happened. It's not happened for me, has it? We'll go down to 80. I'm happy with 80. Oh, wow. Do you know what? We've got the money. I'm going to pay it. It leaves me 90 million, guys. Can you believe this is one of the better budgets I've had? 90 million left. Now, I think it'll be Strike that gets sold. So again, I only want 4 defenders. You don't want too many players in this. We've had players come back from loans as well. I'm going to deny that release clause. I don't want no release clauses. Decent bit of money that, though. Really? I mean, Sporting, they were in debt not so long ago. They're not anymore, are they? With that amount of money they've just got for Romero. Having said that, I don't know what they paid for him. But so Cook will come out and Romero will be the starting centre-back. You can see the team is just too big. I think Cresswell and Hilda's time is done. So then we've got Cook and Strike. So I think we'll keep Cook and Strike and I will get rid of Cresswell and Hilda. It just didn't go up enough. Again, if we were doing this series, if we were playing this, these are 2 players that I would have played, would have given game time. And we would have seen more growth with the game time they got. There is like a ceiling on FIFA. So when you're trying to improve players, you're trying to upgrade them. There's a ceiling if they're not playing. Like, they will improve so much, but if they're not getting game time, that improvement will be massively slow. And you've also got to remember that dynamic potential really only counts for the players that are playing and playing well. So we would have been able to grow both of these very well if we were playing this. But at this stage, there's no chance. So we wanted a backup central midfielder, and it's a young backup central midfielder as well in Curtis Jones. He's at Marseille currently. Liverpool have let him go. I'm actually a big fan of him in real life. I don't know if he'll make it at Liverpool. I definitely think he'd suit Leeds. If Liverpool ever wanted to let us have him, I would be more than happy to have him. I like him. He's so technically good on the ball. He's got a good engine. We're going to try and pick him up here for the minimal amount of money that possibly I could pick him up for. I don't want to pay too much. The magic number is 69, although I do love the number 69. I really don't want to pay 69 million for Curtis Jones. 69 million for a backup player. All right, we're rich. We're super rich. I feel like Man City out here. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Man City out here. You will notice as well, I'm happy to pay this because we do need a crucial central midfielder. Again, we keep getting that objective, but this year it's achievable to do it. And while it is achievable to do these objectives, I'm going to keep doing them because there is something about seeing a green manager rating, which I've seen so rarely on this year's game, that just fills my heart with warm, fuzzy feeling. So that's the deal done. The lad does certainly like the number 69. He just does, but there we go. He's in the team. And I mean, because I feel like it, we're going to give him number 69 because why not? Can I go as high as 69? I think I can do, right? Or did they get rid of 69 from being available to give him, right? He loves 69. 69 million, 69,000 per week. Shirt number 69 for Curtis Jones. I will add that comfortably makes the team very good. Like, we are an extremely good football team right now. As you can see, though, we don't really have any money left. I just didn't expect to get given that much money, to be honest with you. We have now achieved this. The rating's not changed. Get a streak of 10 games with at least 1 goal scored this season. That's probably possible because we score quite a lot. The average age of the team, I'm not going to do anything to try and endeavour to get that up. I guess naturally that will get maybe to around 28 in 2 seasons because we won't see too many transfers now apart from improvements. So the next improvement I would say that we could do next season if we get a similar budget would be either James, unless he goes up rapidly this year, or Serginho Dest and Zinchenko. But they're the only 2 positions at the moment that we can really improve. So obviously the most important thing going into this season, Champions League football. Now, I don't know how we've managed this. I think maybe we bribed someone somewhere that, you know, maybe that's what happened. The 2 teams I actually support, obviously I'm much more of a Leeds fan. Inter Milan and Leeds will play against each other. Dynamo Zagreb and then CSKA Moscow. I don't know how we've done it, guys. I really don't know how we've done it. If we don't get out of that group, though, it'll be quite shameful. Who knows? I've had it before. In the first season we get in the Champions League, I've won it. I'm not saying that's going to happen this time round. I'm not, but we've got a very good squad. I think we even managed to do that with Blackburn. I can't remember fully, but I think we might have been able to do that with Blackburn. Let's see if we can do something similar now with Leeds. I've made it to the knockout stages. I don't know how we do with this. We're going to take on Bruges over 2 legs. Now, you anticipate, considering the squad we've got, we should beat Bruges. So we beat them 3-1 in the first leg. It should be relatively comfortable now going into the second leg for us to go through. And we do. 2-1 victory. Wow. So the next team we'll play is Everton. Everton actually made it this far in the Champions League. So it does show you with some of the sims that it's going to throw you up scenarios like this. But I mean, Club Brugge and Everton, we got gifted a good group, right? We got gifted an easy group. And now I'm not saying that we'll beat Everton, but what I'm saying is Club Brugge and Everton is definitely a much nicer start to the knockout stages. We play Everton 3 times back to back here. Now, the league game, I really don't care about at all. It's the Champions League game I care about. We're going to draw the first, we're going to lose the first leg 2-1. We did then go and beat them in the league 2-1, but I don't care about the league game. I care about this. We've got to win it, and we draw 2-2, and Everton are going to be the team that knock us out the Champions League. The season is done. Mixed results to end the season, and maybe I just shouldn't have talked any smack about Everton, because in the long run, it's done us dirty. I mean, the fact that we beat them in the league, them 3 times in a row was the most frustrating thing. My absolute shock, though, we have won the Premier League. Leeds United have won the Premier League. Yes, that is correct. We only lost 3 times this season in the league. We win it with 77 points, which has to be up there with a record low. But does it matter? We finish ahead of everyone. Manchester United finishing 5th. You love to see it. We'll go down to the bottom of the table and just see that Sheffield United finished bottom, Brighton, and then Burnley finally getting relegated from the Premiership. That's nuts. Everton finished 8th. Knocked us out of the Champions League. Didn't make it far in any other cups, and the final is actually Chelsea-Liverpool in the Champions League. It was Chelsea that knocked out Everton, and the English side's then doing really well. There's one thing I will note. For some strange reason, got a 45. We're in danger, apparently. I've done both of these. I've done both of the critical. This is what baffles me with it. They're not fixed. Said it earlier, they're not. This is what baffles me. We've done the 2 most critical ones that I could do right now. The other one's long term, right? We've done both of them. We've achieved the domestic success one as well. The Premier League one. We didn't... Who cares about the FA Cup when you win the Premier League? And we didn't reach the final of the Champions League, but it says it's low. And now we've got a 45 manager rating. I'll tell you now. I'll tell you now. If we get sacked in this, I will be fuming. So Patrick Bamford, as per usual, top goal scorer, 25 goals this season. Not as good as last year, but he's gone up 2 again at the age of 31. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. This was Dan James's standout season. 23 goals and 19 assists. We did mention that maybe replacing him was going to be on the cards. It's not now. 88 rated. Curtis Jones come in and scored 13 goals. Actually got a lot of game time, going up by 1. Neuhaus is nearly 90. He's 89 rated now. Not as big as a contribution as seasons that have gone by. Harrison up there, though, still. You look at Dan James doing as well. Harrison's still done well, the backup. Really poor year for Rafinha, which is strange to see. Hammer Vega going up by 3 as well. He's 89 as well now. So both central midfielders are nearly 90 rated. Meslier's really unhappy. Submitted a transfer request. And I really want to keep him. We might keep him around. We'll see what happens. I think next season will probably be the final season. We've won the league, but you see how successful we've been finally getting the squad down to a 25-man squad. And if we're given a big budget, again, I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it because I'm pretty happy with the squad we've got. Maybe, right, so a backup right back. Calvin Phillips now 89 rated as well. So all 3 central midfielders 89 rated. And then I think a backup right mid is what we need now, right? Because we've got Rafinha and Somerville's just not good enough. So I will transfer list Somerville. And we've got Bamford and Gelhardt. And Gelhardt has gone up again. I'll give Bamford a new contract. Gelhardt has gone up by 1. So I'm actually going to keep him around. I'm happy with the squad. I'm frustrated about the Everton result. And I really don't get the manager rating stuff. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy. If we get anywhere near the same budget next season, I don't see why we can't win the Champions League. Even more this year. It's actually even more this year. 233 million. And I'm talking about backup players. I'm talking about how we need backup players. I might buy a new left back and a new right back. I don't see any reason to change any of the midfield. They're going to get better. But we do need a backup goalkeeper now. I couldn't keep Meslier. Really frustrated. Is what it is. He threw his toys out the pram because Areola was playing more. The assistant was playing him. And yeah, a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. These things happen in rebuilds. I look at his starting 11 and I just think, I can't really improve it that much without like a Haaland or an Mbappe. Could now go in for Tierney or Lodi though. That is one of the big things I could now do. I think Renan Lodi would be the cheap. I actually haven't used Renan Lodi either. So yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to go in for Renan Lodi. I think improving left and right back is the best decision because I want Bamford to be in the team when we win the Champions League. I also don't think we need to improve him because he's bagging goals, you know, week in, week out. We still need a backup for right mid, definitely. Again, for 85 million, that would be, okay, 96. It's not like we're not rich, is it? 136 million left. after we sign him for 96. So Renan Lodi coming in will then move Zinchenko to the bench, right? So that does mean that third post time is done. Got a little scout around for right backs, and I've gone with Mukiele. We like our French players at this team. We like going to Real Madrid as well. He's going to be out of contract. That's one of the main reasons, right? We needed either a backup or a starting right back. And now what we will do is Dest will be backup and Mukiele will be our starter. I think I should be able to get him for 35 million because he's going to be out of contract. So I'm pretty sure they'll just accept what his value is. And they do. 35 million for Mukiele. Absolutely ridiculous. Feel like we're robbing the bank a little bit with this one. I'm not going to lie. I can't understand why he's so cheap. Yeah, I'm not going to complain, obviously. We're getting a really good deal. He's an expensive player, though. Trying to get him to take a pay cut, if we could do that. Hopefully. Didn't insult him, and he does take a pay cut. He will become the starter, and then Serginho Dest will be the backup. They're very close in rating, but they're still both very good. And then I just genuinely don't think we could do much else with this starting 11 now. I want a backup right mid, and I think that'll be us done and dusted. There isn't that many players to move on at this stage. I feel like we were unlucky in the Champions League last season. We just need a bit of luck to go our way this year. And what's the objective, to be fair? I should have stayed the same because of the long-term one. So I don't know. I don't even know what to say. The average age is up a little bit, but considering I think this will be the last year regardless, a cheeky 5-year rebuild. I think we're on year 5. I always lose track when I'm doing these. A backup right mid is what we need, right? And, you know, who better to sign as a backup right mid than Saka? A great game at the weekend, but I can't believe that I'm signing Saka to play backup to Rafinha. He's going to be 100 million at least. I'm going to go in 110, 115 with the fee. Remove the sell-on clause. Submit. We're going to be so strong. If we don't win the Champions League with this team, I quit. This has to be one of the strongest backups as well I've ever bought on a rebuild. I've done a good few of these now. If you haven't seen them, there is a folder, I believe. A folder. There's a playlist. I have a folder, but you guys have a playlist for all the rebuilds in there. I think they're popular. I think people like the rebuilds. I've noticed that the ones that we do in England, people tend to enjoy them a lot more. And maybe over time, I could put in some rebuilds where we have stipulations. It's not usually the way I do it, but maybe we could do that over time. Add some stipulations to the way we do the rebuilds. But this one, again, it wasn't planned. It wasn't on the list, and I didn't think Bielsa was going to be sacked. So when that happened, I just knew instantly, right, I need to do this. I was sat at the computer, came up with a thumbnail. Here we are on our final season. We're going to sim now to the end of it. Well, we're going to sim to the point of hopefully me coming back and showing you that we're going to win the Champions League. I completely forgot we were going to be in the Community Shield. So we've won it. We've won another trophy, boys. So now we've won the Premier League. We won the Community Shield. We have failed in 2 finals, by the way, in the lead up to this. We do play Chelsea twice at the start of the season. But yes, we have beaten them. And there's another trophy in the cabinet now for Leeds United and this season. Champions League group here then, not that bad. Leeds United, Leverkusen, Club Brugge, Rangers. Of course, we beat Club Brugge in the knockout stages last time. Rangers, I think we could beat. That would be a feisty game though, I imagine, Leeds Rangers. And then Leverkusen. So again, I don't know how these teams have developed. That should be mentioned, but a relatively easy group. So here we go then. Gladbach in the Champions League. We got through the group comfortably. I'm hoping we're going to get through Gladbach comfortably. We lose 3-2 in the first leg. Surely we can pull it back here in the second leg. You would just hope. We do. We win 3-1. And it's happened again. We've got an English side and we play them 3 times in a row. Why, EA? Why does this keep happening? Please don't do this to me again. Don't let this be a sign. We win the first leg 3-2. We lose the league game this time round, which I don't care about. Come on, Leeds United. Knock out Arsenal. Draw 3-3. We are through to the semi-finals. Semi-finals is against Real Madrid. The white of Leeds United versus the white of Real Madrid. Can we get a win in the first leg? A draw. Okay, a draw in the first leg. It does appear like we have another cup final as well against Arsenal coming up. So far, it's looking like a good season. Winning this means everything. Yes, winning this is so important. And we win 3-0. We are in the Champions League final. We're going to be taking on AC Milan in the Champions League final as well. We do have this cup final here against Arsenal. Let's see if we manage to win the cup. We do win the cup 2-1. Wasn't the only cup we won. We've won the Carabao as well. We beat Manchester United 2-0 in the Carabao final. So we have a double already here with the FA Cup. You count the Community Shield, that's a treble if you count the Community Shield. It's a guaranteed treble. It's a guaranteed treble. Leeds United won the Premier League as well. We have won a treble here, boys. Here in season number... I'm telling you, this is probably the best squad I've ever had and the most money I've ever used, right? We didn't have this at Blackburn, I'll tell you that. But there we go, 99 points. I'm going to go through the calendar, right? And this, I believe, is single-handedly the best simmed season I've ever had, right? So we'll go to the start of the year. We won every game in August. We won every game in September. We won every game in October. This is unbelievable. We had our first draw in November. We won every other game apart from the draw against Brentford. So at this stage, we've won every single match, barring one draw against Brentford. The month after of December, we won every single game. I'm telling you, this is the best sim I've ever seen. We still haven't lost here, by the way, boys. We're in January. We haven't lost yet. We have a draw there against Swansea. So at this stage, we've won every game and drawn twice. And then some losses start to come in February. We have a bit of a dip by losing to Man United and Gladbach. And then we have another month where we won every single game. Honestly, it is the best sim I've ever had. That is the best sim I've ever had. Now, are we going to get a good sim in the Champions League final? Let's take a look at how the squad did this year. 42 goals for Patrick Bamford. 42 goals for Paddy B. Played 64 games. And the shock for me is Camavinga. He's gone and got himself 36 goals and 15 assists. He's now 90 rated. But that's the shining light at the end of the tunnel, that is. Patrick Bamford, I really wanted to do whatever I could to keep him in this entire rebuild because he just gets so much hate. And I'm a big fan. I love Paddy B. And he's managed to get himself 42 goals. Dan James there with 23, now 91 rated. Curtis Jones up to 86. He got himself 20 goals and 11 assists this season. Rafinha, not the greatest, but again, 92 rated. When we look at this squad, we look at there's some upset players, by the way. We look at the squad. We look at some of the ratings. We've really built a fantastic team here. And that's why I said this year they'd probably do it. Calvin Phillips is a 90. I'm glad he's in the team and he'll be the captain for this final. But we've just built an unbelievable team. And it hasn't actually taken that many moves, that many transfers to get to this stage. And although there is only Phillips, Bamford, Rafinha and James in this starting 11 that were at the club to start with, which to be honest with you is huge, when we look into the team, the bench has Gelhardt as our backup striker. Pascal Strike is in there as a backup centre-back. Robin Cook is a backup centre-back. We managed to keep quite a few players, and I always love it when we can do that in a rebuild, but here we go, Champions League final. So of course, always in the Champions League final, we do sim it this way, and it's just so we can watch the trophy lift at the end. I do try and keep these fully simulated. I know some people play the final, but I feel like that kind of guarantees you the win. I feel like we should get the win in this one, but I will play it like this so I can bring you the trophy lift. If we win the trophy, we better win the trophy. It had to be Paddy B to score the first goal in a Champions League final. Leeds United have the lead. Now 2-0 Leeds United. Camavinga surely seals the Champions League trophy. It's been us, really, the entire match. It's been a rubbish match. These sims they're okay. They're not great. They're nothing special. But there we go. Camavinga surely seals this one for Leeds United. And we'll be lifting the Champions League trophy. There we go then, boys. Leeds United are crowned Champions League champions here. And I cannot believe how good of a season we've had. I'm still trying to get to grips with the fact that the season we just had was so good. But we are going to have the trophy lift in a minute. I wish I'd have probably changed the kit so that we were playing in the white. But who cares, to be honest with you? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what kit you're wearing if you're lifting the Champions League. So fitting as well that Patrick Bamford scored the winning goal for this Leeds United team to win the Champions League. I just can't believe it. We're going to get to see Calvin Phillips lift the trophy. And I might never get to see this in my lifetime. Leeds win a Champions League. We can dare to dream. We can live in that hope, right? That this will happen at some stage. But this is a massive moment for the club here on FIFA. And a massive moment for me in this series as Calvin Phillips lifts that Champions League trophy aloft. And I could not be happier. This has been a really fun rebuild. I was quite daunted coming into this one because when you do your own team, you have loyalties, and I find it a bit difficult whenever I manage a team that I really like and that are really close to my heart as well. And I've actually ended up loving this rebuild. This has been some of the most fun I've had recently. I enjoy the rebuilds. They're just super time consuming. This has taken me 7 hours. It doesn't seem like it because you guys will get a 45, 50-minute video depending how much I've waffled on. But it takes a bloody long time to do them. I hope you enjoyed it. Please smash the like button if you made it this far as well. Hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you all have a bloody good week. And I'll leave you with Leeds United, your Champions League winners.